Welcome to Daytime Ottawa here on Rogers TV. Happy Monday. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. We're going to kick things off talking about the arts. And my next guest is a wonderful poet and educator. Before I introduce you to Zoey Roy, we're going to listen in to a piece of her poetry. It's called Be Well. Have a listen.
Our roots are deep. They are everything that connects us as beings. We are exactly who we are supposed to be. Sometimes it's hard to see. In a world that seems like it's going crazy, we face misplaced hate because of race. Yeah, maybe it's hard to find a level when you're stuck in the middle. It's hard to get ahead when you feel so little. I learned that love lives in the land and it's unconditional. The trees will always help us breathe and keep our lungs full. The sky will always rain and the sun will shine again. I want to know how to become this whole. I want to live in a place where we are all learning, where we don't need all the answers, just a strong yearning to connect and grow, where it's okay to go slow, just as long as we know where our home fire's burning.
That is Be Well by Zoey Roy, and she joins me in studio. Welcome. Great to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Before we get into your background, just naturally coming out of that, tell me a little bit about Be Well.
Well, it comes from a place of wanting to love myself. As an Indigenous person, I grew up with maybe the implications of being Indigenous without so much to hold on to. I didn't feel a part of my natural environment when I was pressured to be in poverty. And so this is my ode to freedom, to my own desire to be free in my own body and to share that with other people as our natural state of being. Yeah.
Can you share with me, like growing up, talk a little bit about your childhood with me?
Just right in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am Nehidao Dene and Michif from northern Saskatchewan. I grew up primarily in urban centers, so Prince Albert and Saskatoon, all over Saskatchewan, all over Canada. And I knew that I was Indigenous, but I didn't know what that meant. A lot of my identity I was taught in school, and we were taught as if we existed in the past. But I was a child, and I demanded to be a part of the future. And so storytelling through poetry, rhythm and rhyme and having fun with myself, like not having access to instruments and using my own self as the instrument, that gave me like a sort of power I didn't know was going to be the token for my life.
Right.
Yeah, that would ultimately lead me here today.
Yeah, and you know Did you have music in your life, or did it just come to you? Did you just start all of a sudden? You have a great imagination, obviously, right?
Yeah. So when I was in grade 2, my teacher, Mrs. Smith, she was really encouraging, but sometimes I get lost, and I know the alphabet was on the wall. By grade 2, I was a professional, so I thought A, B, C. Nah, there's got to be a better way to do this. So I started practicing the ABCs from the backwards because my name starts with a Z. So
okay.
Z, Y, X, N, W, V, U, T, S, R, Q, P, O, N, M, L, K, J, I, H, G, F, E, D, C, B, and A.
Oh my God.
I learned that you could subvert an institution, something that seems so mundane and concrete. You could actually change it and make it fun and make it work for yourself.
And now you're on the roster of Mask. We've had many Mask artists come in and out of the studio, and they always speak about what they love about being a Mask artist. Tell me how that came about for you.
Okay, so Mass picked me up just recently, and so I'm new to the roster.
Okay.
I have my first workshop actually tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so I joined Mass because I think they're an organization that we could have a strong partnership. I really believe in teaching children and youth how to use their own voice in everything that they've been gifted with, strength-based approach.
Okay.
And I think Mass is going to be an organization organization that could really support me, elevate me, and strengthen these connections that I can have with young people.
So you're excited, obviously, right, with the workshop tour. So what does that workshop look like? What are you going to be talking to them about and teaching them?
Okay, so I teach poetry through rhythm and rhyme, so rhythmically accentuated poetry or rap. It's influenced by hip hop, and hip hop is obviously Black culture. As an Indigenous person, I owe my sense of self-determination to Black liberation. And so I think by creating these songs, I'm able to open people up to maybe more of themselves and build relationships that are strength-based. And I think, like, in these songs, what we're doing is we're creating community. So what we're doing is we're harvesting the values from the class, asking the kids, what are you interested in? What makes you excited? Let's write a song about that. And oftentimes, many kids want to write about themselves and what's going on in their lives. And these are values that I think are going to give us the tools for creating a future together, because this is what the young people care about.
Right, right. You're taking, you're doing your PhD right now in something that's very unique. Explain it to our viewers.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at how Indigenous people are restoring contemporary use of Indigenous culture and languages through hip hop.
Okay.
So I teach elders how to write rap as well, and they tell me stories, and they teach me that, like, hip hop is not the first rebel culture, and my desire to be rebellious didn't come from anywhere. I am a Métis person. We were on the road allowance, so our existence is naturally political, and so storytelling and constructing your own narrative is resistance as well. But these elders are teaching me that this sense of self and asserting self within public consciousness, this comes from a long history of resistance. And so I'm looking at Indigenous culture and how to amplify it in the contemporary context through music.
What has the response been from elders?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm doing right now is I'm creating seven songs and music videos in 7 parts of Canada, which are amplifying languages of that specific territory.
Okay.
So from Kingston to Whitehorse to the 60 Scoop Network, all the way to Onaweg in New Brunswick. And what I'm going to hear from the elders are what values do they hope for us to take into the future in a contemporary context. Basil Johnson, he's an Indigenous thinker, philosopher, superstar. He says, traditionally, Indigenous people have always been contemporary people. We are present. And telling our stories is really important in a time when maybe a lot of us can get lost in the system.
Yeah, agreed. Zoe, this has been a great conversation. I had so many more things I wanted to ask you, but I really appreciate the time today. And
thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Right.
You can find out and follow Zoe over at zoeyroy.com is the website. We'll be back right after this.